Houston, Texas. We're recovering a little bit from beta. It's really interesting what's going on here. We got some flooding, we got some stuff like that. It's really affected us just a little bit on our guest today. We're going to have my friend Megan Neal from Dumas Neal Law Firm on today. We're going to talk a little bit about law for the first 20 minutes of the call of today. Then we're going to bring Sherman Owen. He's a really good friend of mine from Mutual of Omaha. He's a recruiter for insurance agents, and he and I we talk a lot on each other's podcasts, and we talk on each other's networking stuff. So we're going to get some really good stuff. We're going to talk about LinkedIn and some things over there. So let's set the tone for the show today. And I want to talk a little bit about strategy and what's going on. I see a lot of business owners and fishermen without strategy. We don't know what we're going to do. So what are we going to do today? What are we going to fish for? We talk about it all the time. And the reason I bring this up is I've been seeing some of my clients, they're just, man, they'll try something and it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, they're mad. They spend money. They're not sure what to do. They're frustrated. But then you ask them the question. I said, well, how did that relate to your strategy? And they look at you like, what do you mean? It was, my strategy was to bring me clients. It was to get something. It was to make more money, Mike. This whole thing about me owning a business is so I can make more money. Well, to make more money, we need strategy, and that's going to be the most important thing. Just like we talked about a couple weeks ago. We need to know, what are we fishing for again? Why are we doing it? And it's always important on whichever part of the company, or what part of the company we're working on. What's the strategy to make operations better? What's the strategy to make sales and marketing better? What's the strategy to make organizational leadership better? What's the strategy to increase finance and increase profit? We've got to have a strategy when we're going in and not just keep throwing tactics against the wall. And that's the things that we do. We throw tactics against the wall, and we hope things stick. And we've heard that in other terms, and my son hears it all the time. You guys saw my son on here last week when we were talking to David. Those of you that follow me on Facebook, I've got a pivot going right now. One of my friends, Mark LaCour, Mark's going to be a guest of mine in 2 weeks. If you guys are looking to podcast and you love the oil and gas industry, you definitely want to be on that one. But Mark and I were talking. He said, Mike, I really love what you're doing here on the Teach Your Business to Fish stuff. I think it's really awesome. He goes, we could take a little pivot on this, and what if we put together a really high-end offering? And I'm talking a $50,000 to $100,000 offering. That's way more than my clients that pay me anywhere right now between $500 and $3,000 a month. So I got a $6,000 to $36,000 offering right now. And they said, look, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this. And my son and I, sorry about that. My son and I sat out last night. You may have saw me. I crafted a cigar lounge in my garage because I was told I could not smoke cigars in the house. So I crafted a cigar lounge in my garage. We brought out all the stuff we needed, and we hit the three main things that we needed to get done by the end of the year to make this happen. And so we've got the three main things that need to be done, and then we realized how many steps there were. So what we did is we use this sticky note system that I learned years ago. And so we said, this needs to be done this week. This needs to be done next week. This needs to be done the week after that. But this can't happen without this. And how those goals interacted. And that's what we did. We're sitting down and creating this strategy. So we know exactly what needs to be done in what order to make things happen. And that's what I want to make sure we're going to talk about my guest today. When we get Megan, Jonathan, we got Megan on there. She can be ready to rock and roll. All right. He said you give me a thumbs up. And we're going to get Megan on there, and we're going to talk to her about, the legal side of a business. How do we get the legal side of the business set up that we're doing everything right? There's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be done. And Megan had a great post on Facebook, a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to bring it up, and we'll talk about it then. But it's just how we do things. When you're seeking advice from a business coach who's going to go tell you to talk to your lawyer, who's going to go tell you to go talk to your CPA, your bookkeeper, your marketing firm, you need to let them know what the strategy is, so the experts that you're dealing with can help you put together the step-by-step process to get it done. Don't try to jump. I was always taught that the furthest point from point A to point B was a shortcut. The furthest point from point A to point B was a shortcut. There are no shortcuts in business. We hear it all the time. We see the Facebook ads. Hey, there's a shortcut here, the shortcut there, the shortcut there. Yeah, those things generally don't work. You want to know who they work for? They work for the guy that's advertising you. They make you sound good, that you pay them, and it doesn't work. I know, I've been there. I'm like, when it comes to sales, I'm a D. If you guys are familiar with the DISC profile, I'm really easy to sell to, and so it's people that are selling to me. It really doesn't take them a lot to get me interested and get excited to buy, but they have a great strategy to sell you. But now we need the strategy to success. And I think that's what's going to be really good about this first segment with Megan is we're going to talk about the strategy to success from a legal point of view. A legal point of view. Doing things legally, right, morally, and ethically, they're important. They're important, and you've got to set that up. Whether we're out fishing or not, I teach people to be a real success, REEL. And it's relationships, it's equipping your team, it's ethics. Ethics is the next thing, and that's where your legal team comes in. And L's not legal, it's leadership. But, those are the things that we need to be bringing to the table when we're looking at building our client. So that's what it's going to be about with Megan. Are we about ready to cut to break there, Jonathan? He's giving me the let's go to break. So we're going to go to break. We got Megan coming on. She's Skyping in. We've got her for like 20 some minutes, and we're going to try to get as much information out of her as possible. So this is Michael Rager, your business guide. We'll be back in just a minute.
Our nation is being seriously affected, not only emotionally, but also clinically. Parents or guardians dealing with a teenager in crisis that require transport to an appropriate treatment facility makes that decision even more difficult. My Armor Services Transport is here to help. Their agents are personal protection officers and private investigators, state certified and trained to accommodate firm boundaries and de-escalations, all while recognizing your loved one's sense of individuality and dignity. Most times your loved one will not respond favorably to being placed in a treatment program. Positive and safe transportation assistance becomes critical when violent or defiant behavior to a placement is anticipated. My Armor Services Transport understands this is a difficult time for you and your family. They are committed to transporting your loved one with dignity, respect, securely, and with compassion. Let them assist with this heavy burden. Call today at 1-800-341-0919 and let My Armor Services Transport be the first strong step you take toward resolving this difficult and complicated issue. COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The Now Media Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The Now Media Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
We're back. This is your business guide, Michael Rager. I teach your business to fish. I am so excited to have this next guest. I'm hearing myself multiple times, so let me turn this volume down. This is so I can hear Megan. Last time I did this when I interviewed somebody on Skype, I couldn't hear him. So we ready to bring her up? All right, let's bring in our guest, Megan Neal. Hey, Megan, how are you? Uh-oh, do you hear me? Hey, so now I get to talk just a little bit. Oh my gosh, this is what happens. We got her now?
Yeah, hey. I've got. Okay, we're good.
How you doing, Megan?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So glad we finally get to do this. I know we've been trying for a while, but you've been studying for bar exams, eh?
Yeah. I decided to torture myself, take another bar exam in Louisiana, and just merged my law firm with colleagues. So now I've got a new, bigger law firm as well. So it's been an exciting few months.
Awesome. It's so funny when Megan and I met, it was about 6-7 weeks ago on Facebook. We started talking in another group, and she goes, hey, by the way, my Uncle Greg. And I was like, Greg. And she goes, yeah, Greg Ball, the guy you go fishing with all the time. So it was really funny. We didn't actually meet through Greg. We actually we met on our own and realized that we had a common somebody in common that we really seem to enjoy their company, huh?
Yeah. And of course, he knows everybody. And hopefully everybody goes to fish with him at Wave Dancer.
Oh, we're gonna make that happen. Okay, I want to get it because we got to the bottom of the hour with you because you've got got some things you got to do, and I know I'm really grateful that we got to spend some time today. All right, as a lawyer, you're helping new businesses start up. What's the things? What's the? I talked a little bit about strategy. So what's the strategy that a business owner needs to come into you with, or at least get with you? So they've got a strategy for success to start up. Let's just say a business to consumer type thing. An electrician, a plumber, or something like that. What do they need to be doing?
Right. Well, so one of the things that I ask people whenever they come to our firm is, what's your goal here? What do you want? What are you trying to do? Because they might say, well, I want to open up this business and I want to do this. And that's a really vague thing, right? So I say, okay, what is your goal? Who are your customers? How do you plan to reach out to your customers? Do you have a website vendor? Do you have a CPA? Do you have a marketing plan? What is your business plan? A lot of times they don't have answers to those questions. And, sometimes they do, and that's great. A lot of times by the time they come to an attorney, they're ready to pull the trigger. But, one of the things that we do that we want to do is to make sure that all of our clients have a successful business. There's nothing more exciting than somebody opening their business and they're thrilled about it. Then they make money, they grow. I love seeing that in clients. So when they come in the door, I want to know, what is your plan? And so we help them develop that plan, ask them those questions about, how are you going to do this?
Yeah, it's funny. It's just, that's what I talked about in the first couple of minutes. It's you see it so many times in people look to start a business. They got a good idea and it's ready, fire, aim. They're not taking the time, to aim first and figure out exactly who they're aiming at and what they're trying to do. They just go, and that just really gets them in trouble, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, especially in, certain fields of the law. So for example, I have a lot of healthcare clients. A lot of them will come to me and say, well, I hired this person, I paid him this way, I've got this contract, and I look at it and go, okay, so that violates a lot of laws. And I wish you'd come to me sooner, because now we have to fix this mess, and it is a big mess. Another thing is whenever people file the wrong entity type, like they'll go to a LegalZoom or something like that, and maybe they shouldn't be a corporation. Maybe they should be an LLC, or a professional LLC. So there's a lot of that startup that is missing for some people, or they don't even have a plan on how they're going to spend, use, or do anything with their money, or how much money they need. So sometimes it's let's hold off here. You need some sort of a plan. Don't just go throw something in the air, because if you don't have the money to pay your quarterly taxes, now we've got a bigger problem.
Yeah, I see it all the time. I got some clients, and I've had some in the past, they're partnerships and stuff like this, and they've really never taken the time to understand what each partner's role is in the company, how they're going to own it. They go in and they think they're 50-50 partners. And, here one partner is working, 100 hours a week. They've invested, $75,000 of their own money. The other guy works 15 hours a week. He's still got his job, but he thinks he's a 50-50 partner. And, all of a sudden when things start to go bad, that turns into some ugliness, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, we call those business divorces.
Yep.
And I'm actually doing one right now. And it's almost exactly what you described. So these two guys, they really like each other. They have this business plan to open up a fitness center, right? And one guy is the personal trainer guy, and he is, all about helping everybody with their fitness goals. The other guy fronted a little bit of money, but still works full-time elsewhere. And so he's not at this fitness center very often. And, things between them went south a little bit, and they decided that it was time to part ways, and that happens. And so whenever they went to go do it, the personal trainer was like, "Excuse me, I have a whole lot more sweat equity in here," but they didn't really talk about it before they opened it up. So the part-time guy got half the company because he was entitled to it. Like I said, they didn't discuss it. They didn't have it papered up properly. So yeah, they were 50-50 partners when they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I see it all the time. I started a company a few years ago, and it was that way. And I got my lawyer at the time. We wrote things up, and I gave it to the guys, and they're like, well, I thought we were 33 partners. I'm like, what do you mean, man? I'm working 100 hours a week. You got your other gig. You've got the other gig. I put $90,000 into this. You guys haven't put in a nickel. There ain't no way we're even partners. And, they got mad. And, I thought we were friends. I go, yeah, we're friends, but this is business. And, if you want to pony up $70,000, $80,000, then we talk. But, they didn't want to, and they got mad. So you had a great post, it was about a week or so ago, about people coming in your office and you say, nope, don't do that. I see that all the time. Tell me about that, and tell me what kind of comes from that. And that I just love that post.
Yeah, so I do a lot of compliance work, business compliance, healthcare compliance, employment compliance. Particularly right now with COVID and everything, in March and April, I got a lot of my longstanding clients and some new clients saying, I need help. I need to know what to do with my employees, my part-time, my contractors, I want to be fair to them. I don't want to violate any laws. A lot of my phone conversations were, nope, that's illegal. Don't do that. Nope, that violates the workforce laws. That violates the federal, labor laws. That violates this. In healthcare, oh my gosh, there's so much more of it, because there's really stringent requirements on the federal side for kickbacks, and then there's state level kickbacks too. And, a lot of people say, oh no, I was just paying him per patient that he referred to me. And I'm like, okay, that's literally in the statute. One person, this is ages ago, came to me, it was another attorney drafting a contract, and said, well, they want it to do it this way. And I was like, no, you can't do that. And he goes, well, the alternative this way. I was like, no, you can't do that. And he goes, well, what about this? And I was like, you're just reading me the list of things that you're not allowed to do in the statute. So I when I go do compliance reviews at businesses, look at their employment manuals, we look at their onboarding, we look at their policies and procedures, look at their corporate documentation, make sure that everything is, at least the bones of it are where they should be. It's a different function than what you provide to them, but we're making sure that all their documentation is in order. And then of course we work on, are you following your documentation? But one of the things that is the hardest is whenever I go in there and tell them, okay guys, this isn't good. And I always feel like I'm telling people that their baby's ugly because, it's their business. That's their baby. That's something that's very important to them that they want to see grow and thrive. And I'm like, yeah, it's really ugly. So,
I see it all the time. I see it from the marketing side. That's my favorite. Look at this great website I created on my own, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing's horrible. What are you trying to do here? I don't get it. Don't do that. The don't do that thing is always an important thing. And that's why they bring on people like us. It's to help them see it, and we tell them not to do it, then they go do it anyways. It's like my 9-year-old.
Yeah. Well, when they go and do it anyway is usually whenever I make a lot of money, because I have to get them out of a mess that shouldn't have been a mess in the first place. One of them is a great example, is a HIPAA breach that was spurred on when a client called me and said, oh, hey, I talked to the FBI today. And I was like, excuse me? He goes, yeah, I called them. And I was like, okay, so first of all, never reach out to any government agency ever. And then he gave them all this documentation and stuff. And so it's been a very long time to get him out of that mess and a lot of money. Just listen to the people, listen to the experts, rely on the experts. They're experts for a reason. You may be really good at making widgets, but you may not be very good at following laws.
Yeah,
So
no,
listen to
it's
the people
all
who
the time.
do.
Well, let's talk about your company. You know what you guys special in. You know, I know you talked a lot of healthcare stuff. I know when we started talking, you know, healthcare seems to be one of your specialties. Tell me about, you know, who a perfect client is for you and your firm.
Yeah, so really anyone who owns a business is a perfect client for us. We have very, very few areas or industries where we don't practice. So, for example, we have oil and gas manufacturing companies, someone who drills for oil in West Texas, because we do have a statewide practice. And then we have, of course, all the healthcare providers, telemedicine, that sort of thing. We have trucking companies, we have telecommunications companies, really any type of business owner that needs any type of contract or anything like that, that is our perfect client. Particularly, on the litigation side, lawyers kind of say litigation's litigation, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. There's few exceptions to that, but, for example, right now we're dealing with a business where the business owners kind of screwed over the little guys, the minority shareholders. And so we're going through that and saying, look, you did this wrong. There's some fraud involved, and you're either going to pay our clients or we're going to sue you. So a lot of litigation is involved too. If there's, dispute with a city over whether or not you can use your land at a truck yard or something, we do a lot of kind of random stuff, but also it all falls under that business realm of let's make sure to keep your business open and running and you making money.
Yeah, well, we meet next week. We're going to work on that. We're going to pare it down. I want to know who you really love working for. Who's your favorite?
I personally love startups.
Okay.
I absolutely love startups. Whether it be a single doctor who is just saying, hey, I want to go provide women's health services, or, a group of friends who all got laid off in COVID and now they want to go have a venture together. I love startups because there's so much excitement in it. They're thrilled, they're happy, they just want to move on with their lives. That is, to me, it's the best feeling to help someone grow something that they're proud of.
No, I love it. I love them too. A lot of times they just don't have any money. That kind of hurts. We for some reason we want to get paid for what we do. But I love that, and that's one of the things I like helping my clients get on. And I know you and I are going to sit down. We're going to talk business over lunch here in a week or two, and I'm really excited about that. So I know you've got to get on another call in 5 minutes. If you had to tell anything, I want you to do two things in the last 5 minutes. One, I wanted to make sure that people know exactly how to get a hold of you. I know Jonathan's put your website up there and your contact information, but tell everybody how to get a hold of you, and tell them, what's the number one most important thing that, let's say a startup, what's the number one most important thing that a startup should look at before they start working and before they do anything so they don't get in trouble?
So from the legal side of things, it would be that they need to make sure that they have a plan for compliance, whether it be employment compliance, general business compliance, and, of course, industry specific compliance. That is the number one thing that they need to make sure that they have a plan. And that plan includes money, because they need to have that. So those are the bare bones of any organization needs to have a plan to make sure that if anything happens, they know, they have a document that says this is how we handle this. So that's the number one thing. Did you ask me a second question? I'm sorry.
How do they get a hold of you? How do people get a hold of you?
In touch with us.
Oh.
Yeah. So our website is dumasneel.com. That's DUMASNEEL.com. And our phone number is 713-462-0993. my email address is mneal@dumasneal.com.
No, that's awesome. I really appreciate you. You know, we were talking last night, and you with this rain stuff, you offered to come on and save me, so people just didn't have to listen to me talk for a whole hour. So I really appreciate you there. I'm looking forward to, you mentioned the fishing. You mentioned the fishing trip we're trying to get on the 12th with your uncle. If you can't go on this, we should just look at setting up another one. And
so it's actually 2 days after I take that other bar exam. So I will be ready to go relax, have some fun. And of course, since I live on the south side of Houston, it'll be good. And I need to go see my uncle anyway. It's been a couple months.
I talked to him yesterday, and I said, I think we should have John be our first mate and get ready to make a whole bunch of mimosas that morning for the ladies.
Yes. John's fabulous. I love him.
Awesome. Well, my co-sponsor on that is Lisa Morton at Douglas Business Solutions. So she'd definitely be a good person for you to get to meet. She does a lot of real estate, major real estate transactions, multiple family homes. And you should be hearing from my friend John Walker at Walker Law, because he said he does not do any medical stuff. So
yep. I reached out to him the other day. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much. You've been great. Join Megan and I in the Angling and Executives Facebook page. Connect with Megan on LinkedIn and Facebook. Get your meeting. I really appreciate you today, and I'll see you. I think it's next week we're meeting, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's when I don't have to look at my calendar. It tells me what to do.
Yeah, something like that. All right. You have a great day. Enjoy your meeting and pass those exams.
Thanks,
okay.
bye. You too. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. So, Jonathan, we're going to cut away and then bring Sherman on, huh? All right, this is Michael Rager, your business guide on Teach Your Business to Fish. You better stay here because you want to hear Sherman. We're going to talk about LinkedIn and some interesting stuff.
Hi, I'm Mike Mogel, the CEO of Clean Sweep Office Cleaning. A clean and disinfected space is essential to keeping your customers and your staff healthy, safe, and productive while preventing the spread of COVID-19. Clean Sweep Office Cleaning, with more than 20 years experience in janitorial, restaurant, post-construction, and floor maintenance cleaning. We really make it shine. We are focused on quality cleaning and wellness in our customer spaces. Our team is professionally trained to ensure not a spot is missed, and we use products that are safe for your property and your people. Our services are tailored to your individual needs and include expert floor care, dusting, sweeping, mopping, vacuuming, detailing, glass cleaning, and deep disinfecting. Our experienced team is here to make your office as comfortable and clean as possible. Visit our website at cleansweepofficecleaning.com or call us today at 832-689-7996. Now that's a clean sweep.
Our nation is being seriously affected, not only emotionally, but also clinically. Parents or guardians dealing with a teenager in crisis that require transport to an appropriate treatment facility makes that decision even more difficult. My Armor Services Transport is here to help. Their agents are personal protection officers and private investigators, state certified and trained to accommodate firm boundaries and de-escalations, all while recognizing your loved one's sense of individuality and dignity. Most times your loved one will not respond favorably to being placed in a treatment program. Positive and safe transportation assistance becomes critical when violent or defiant behavior to a placement is anticipated. My Armor Services Transport understands this is a difficult time for you and your family. They are committed to transporting your loved one with dignity, respect, securely, and with compassion. Let them assist with this heavy burden. Call today at 1-800-341-0919 and let My Armor Services Transport be the first strong step you take toward resolving this difficult and complicated issue. COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The Now Media Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The Now Media Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Hey, this is Michael Razor, your business guide, back with Teach Your Business to Fish. I got my good friend Sherman Owen here. Sherman, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, thank you. You know, you saved me today. I didn't have a second guess. You happened to be in here interviewing someone. It was either that or people just happened to listen to me ramble.
Yes, which is always a good thing, though. I enjoy listening to you ramble.
Well, thanks, man. I remember the one Tuesday. Sherman does a great thing on Tuesday mornings, and he calls me like 2 minutes before. Hey, dude, I can't get on. Can you run the whole thing? I'm like, yeah, sure, thanks.
Yeah, what had happened was I was driving through like middle of nowhere, Ohio, and I realized, what if I totally drop this because it's middle of nowhere, Ohio? So.
Well, so I'm a Michigan fan, and Ohio is the middle of nowhere, and so that's okay. We understand that. So Sherman, you're a LinkedIn guy. We talk LinkedIn a lot, and
yes,
I want to put you a little bit on the spot. So I've got a friend of mine, Jason Lee. We've got this engagement pod. We're kind of trying to do some things to really help each other push things through LinkedIn. And he and I were talking the other day, and he was doing a training for some guys. And he said, one of the things that's really funny is he goes, we're not seeing the engagement we used to see sharing articles.
Okay.
I said, because it's so easy for people to go find what they want.
Yes.
How are you seeing that right now? When you put together your strategy, how are you doing it? Because I'm paying somebody right now to help me put stuff together, and they want me to push articles. And now I've got somebody else saying, well, we really don't see that work.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good point. So I think one of the biggest things when you look at the algorithm that LinkedIn has and any of these social media platforms is that they're constantly changing that medium. And how's it showing up for you? How's it showing up for someone else? And so if you notice on your mobile app, when you scroll through it, it'll be different than when you pull it up on your desktop. And so this in your feed, what happens is there's a top, and then there's also a recently post. Mm-hmm. So in the top, it's basically kind of trying to show what it thinks that you would want to engage with based on how other people are liking, commenting, sharing a piece of content. I find that for a lot of people, being the content creators, right, that we're putting different posts out there, it's all about variety. So, for example, if I'm constantly pushing out just a picture with a quote or a motivational quote, eventually people are not going to see that as much because it seems to be the same piece of content. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times if it's like those articles, you're sharing a link, if it's not a variety of different mediums, then it's not going to get the same kind of exposure. Because what they're trying to push against is anyone that's using one of those automatic robots to post content.
Yeah. Yeah, we do that. We got the system I'm using right now does some AI. It picks on what I think is good and starts giving me more that type of stuff. One of the things that I'm looking at, and I'm going to use your expertise here, is my blog articles. I learned some really interesting things about that the other day. Pushing my YouTube channel and then sharing, content that may be of interest. With the blog article, I just learned the other day on how to actually create a real article on LinkedIn. How often do you do that?
Not very often. Okay. Mainly because it has to go through compliance. Okay. And so I'd say anybody that has to deal with the compliance team, getting articles through is a little bit more cumbersome when it's written by your own hand. So sometimes using like a ghostwriter. So it's basically you pay for some organization to create the written content, and then they allow you to basically put your name onto it. Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I've been doing. I've been going back to my old blog posts. I wrote back in 2013.
Okay.
So when I had another website, I wrote a whole bunch of blog posts on this Teach Your Business Fish stuff, and I'm going back and updating it. And
yes,
I'm starting to learn the SEO.
I think one of the best things that I've seen people do, especially that write articles, is they don't put all of it in LinkedIn. And so they basically have like a landing page. And so, hey, top 10 things, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to read more, click here, right? And so what you're doing is you're using their attention and you're moving them to the platform that you ultimately want them to be on.
Yeah, that's some of the things that I'm looking to do. And, I learned about the reading the article, the create the article. I didn't even know that was there. I'm not tech savvy.
Well, nobody is, and a lot of times it's not like they're sending out an instruction manual saying, "Hey, user, we added these things on there." And so there's other things like events that you can put on there. I know a lot of people aren't using that function of it, and there is. It's just kind of hidden there right on the left hand side of your feed, and there it is to create an event.
Yeah, we got that one coming up next week. I don't think I've shared it there. I shared the Eventbrite on my post, and Tiffany from Fogo de Chao shared it and stuff like that. And then we went and changed the link to go to the ticket. So that was really fun. So we're going to go put that up and do that kind of stuff. With the other thing that when Jason was teaching us, he said he got to the point right now where he found he's almost a LinkedIn stalker.
Okay.
He goes in and finds out who he wants to meet. And, we get all that crap all the time of it's amazing how many 25-year-old LinkedIn experts they are that know exactly how business coaches work and how they can improve my business.
Yes.
I think I get like 15 of those invites a day. Stop it. But he actually said, here's the way I go and stalk people to get them to eventually talk to me.
Yes.
Do you do any of that in your business? Because I know you recruit a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. So we call that professional snooping, not stalking. But one of the unique tools here is that you have the ability to do search. Now, I will tell you that if you do a lot of searches and it looks like you're doing it for recruiting, the algorithm, the AI of LinkedIn can notice that. And so it'll stop, it might start banning you. And so, for example, if I send a ton of invites to people that I don't know, and then you respond back, hey, I don't know this person, I'm not connecting with them, LinkedIn notices that, and they might say, oh, you've sent your maximum amount of stranger in-mails, right? We need you to buy the Sales Navigator.
Right.
Now, I've used Sales Navigator for about a year and a half, and they continue to revamp it, but it's definitely a great way for those that are looking for talent, particularly talent, and you're trying to poach them from a current role, right? So you want somebody that's already making it happen. That can be a really, really helpful thing.
Yeah, I know I'm trying to do that too because I'm already trying to recruit some new coaches in. That's part of it. I haven't used Sales Navigator. I think it's LinkedIn Pro, the Pro Finder that I've been using. I'm trying to debate whether I go up to Navigator or not. It's interesting. I made a $60,000 sale through Pro.
Yeah.
Because they're sending you the thing that I liked about it. It was sending you potentially RFPs.
Yes.
And I found somebody that was looking for leadership training and stuff like that. And I went in, and it was I've talked about it a few times on here. It was a group of Nigerian engineers that were coming over here annually. Yeah. And they were looking for 3 coaches, and I went in and interviewed, and they said, well, can you do all 3 days? I'm like, sweet, and they ended up loving me. And then they sent me, 6 months later, they sent me to Orlando. The guys came back. I've trained them 3 times, and some stuff happened over there, and they haven't been back in like 2 years. Yeah. And I wish they'd come back because they pay me a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and they're great clients, man. They like what you're telling them.
Yeah, they do. How do you use it? As you are a recruiter, tell us a little bit about exactly what you do and what you're looking for.
Yeah. So when you look at a Mutual of Omaha, we're looking for people that are self-starters, entrepreneurial. They want to help people. They might have a background in sales, marketing, business development, or they might have a background in finance. But a lot of it, the way that we end up leveraging it is we'll use the filter, right? So we'll search, and you're looking for maybe people that are connected. And so that's probably the best thing to do. So instead of doing just a blanket search, I know that I'm connected with Michael. And so on your portal, on your profile page, I can go to connections. And if it's hyperlinked, like you're allowing me to share that, then I can go into, and you and I are connected, I can go into all your 1,000 of connections. And what I can do those, I can filter it. I don't need the people that in the first degree. I need the people that are in the second degree. So the people that you can introduce me to. And then I'm filtering it down on some of those different things that I talked about. Like maybe they have a background in finance. Maybe they have worked at an accounting firm, and I can put maybe a name out there like that. They might have a specific title, like business development. Right. And then when I filter that through, I take those like thousands of contacts that you have, and I break it down to basically something more sizable, like 15 or 10. And then I send you that list, or I make a phone call and I say, Michael was doing some LinkedIn stalking. And I saw these 10 people that I'd love to be introduced to and see if they'd be open to a conversation.
Like how many tell you, like I know about 90% of the time when people do that, I have no idea who these people are.
Yep.
And I think there was a time when LinkedIn first started, when Facebook started, we just accepted everybody.
Yes, we did.
And I know you talked about it yesterday. I had to get off a little bit of the call. I actually had a call during that yesterday. But you were talking about how do you pare down,
yes,
and get rid of these superfluous people that are just there that you really don't need and don't know.
Yeah. So this is perfect because literally this happened two weeks ago. Somebody from Madison. I used to live in Wisconsin for 15 years. Someone from Madison reached out to me. He's a salesperson for a dealership, an auto dealership, and he connected with me. So I shoot him an automatic. I have just saved. It just basically says, "Hey, thanks for connecting with me. Appreciate the invite. I make it a habit to get to know people, that anyone that wants to connect with me. Schedule some time. Here's my Calendly link," right? So all he has to do is just click on the link, schedule some time. His response back was, "Sorry, don't really know ya. Don't know why we'd meet." So I immediately said, "You sent me the connection. That's why we're not longer connected." And I disconnected with him, right? There's no value to me, like, to send an invite to someone if you don't know them. And for me, there's no value of you being connected with me if I don't know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I know. I did it yesterday. There's we haven't talked about it yet, but we're looking to pivot on this new thing. We're putting together this think tank for oil and gas executives, and high end. And I've been kind of going out to second connections and saying, "Hey, I'd like to get to know you. I'm looking for this. Would you potentially have 15 minutes to talk?" I'm just looking to vet the idea right now.
Yes.
And and some are saying yes, some are saying no. And during our call yesterday, I had one of my friends, one of the guys I knew, call me back. He just left Enbridge, and he's like, "Look, I just left. I just retired. But we've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks. And it's perfect timing. I need to send you an invitation and talk to the person that just replaced me."
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, really, just right there. And that's what it can be used for. Hey, Jonathan, how many more minutes we got in this segment? You're just looking at like 2. Yeah, 3 now. See, does he do this crap to you too?
No, he's much more professional.
No, he's way more professional.
on my show.
Oh, okay. Well, that's because your show is way more professional.
Yeah.
So,
well, we've been rolling it for about a year now, Jonathan. So we've really gotten all the kinks out, if you will.
Now, this is part of our witty banter, and kind of going from there. So, who are you looking for, Sherman? Let's go now. So let's finish this segment with who Sherman Owens looking for, and then we'll think of something witty to talk through for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah. So the easiest thing for someone to think about that is anyone in transition. So right now in our community of Houston, it's somebody in oil and energy, somebody in hospitality, and somebody that says, "You know what? I want to be able to still help people, just not at that industry, because I know it's not going to bounce back." I had a great conversation with somebody that worked for like a cruise company right there, and that she was employee number 20, and they grew up to 900 employees. Well, guess what? Cruise liners, nothing's happening out there, right? And if you do go on a cruise, I don't know what it's even going to look like. And so for her, she looks at it because she's like, okay, so even though I've been here for basically 15 years. There's no reason for me to be sticking around.
Right.
Because even if it does come back, it's not going to come back very quickly. And it's not going to come back fast enough. And so for her and having the conversation now, in all transparency, in the conversation, she realized that we were not the right fit for what she was looking to do.
Right.
And so she wanted to go more into a marketing role and less of a sales financial services role, right? And that's really where it comes down to is if anyone has any inkling of, hey, I'd love to be able to run my own business, be my boss, maybe it's in finance, but ultimately it's helping people.
Right.
Then let's have a conversation.
Yeah, no, I love it. I was in the industry for decade. I did it. I just had to finally to get and move to where I wanted to do. I had to cut the bridge. I let my Series 6, 26, and 63 lapse. Yep. And that was hard to do because that was a lot of studying to get those things. But kind of going from there. So Sherman, what do we want to talk about the next segment? What do you think would be cool for people to hear about?
Well, I think I'd love to be able to know what some of the things that you're working on from a marketing standpoint, and then how someone can leverage it for themselves, right? So I know you got Fogo de Chao coming up, right? Yeah. So anyone in Houston, if you like Brazilian steak, I mean, you should just go.
You should just go. Well, it's $20 and you get 2 drinks and appetizers, and then we're gonna raffle off some dinner for 2s.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure if you wanted a meal, I'm sure they'll still bring you the food while you're there.
We will. You sign up, and you sign up for that $20,000 coaching fee. I will buy your dinner. All right, Jonathan, you ready to go to break? All right, this is Mike Rager, your business guide. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi, I'm Mike Mogel, the CEO of Clean Sweep Office Cleaning. A clean and disinfected space is essential to keeping your customers and your staff healthy, safe, and productive while preventing the spread of COVID-19. Clean Sweep Office Cleaning, with more than 20 years experience in janitorial, restaurant, post-construction, and floor maintenance cleaning. We really make it shine. We are focused on quality cleaning and wellness in our customer spaces. Our team is professionally trained to ensure not a spot is missed, and we use products that are safe for your property and your people. Our services are tailored to your individual needs and include expert floor care, dusting, sweeping, mopping, vacuuming, detailing, glass cleaning, and deep disinfecting. Our experienced team is here to make your office as comfortable and clean as possible. Visit our website at cleansweepofficecleaning.com or call us today at 832-689-7996. Now that's a clean sweep.
Graphic design, banners, brochures, business cards, posters, any printing you need for your company's branding, Priority Printing SS is your solution. With more than 30 years of experience, Priority Printing SS has been the preferred solution for hundreds of companies for any printed materials. At Priority Printing SS, they believe in listening to you, bringing you creative ideas to effective results. Your printed materials talk about your company. Make sure they open the door for you. Trust your printed materials to the experts. Call Priority Printing SS at 713-575-9800 and let Priority Printing SS handle with ease all your printing needs. COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The Now Media Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The Now Media Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Hey, this is Michael Rage, your business guy, and I'm back with my good friend Sherman Owen. So, Sherman, all right, what do we want to talk about this segment?
So this marketing, this is really where I think this is crucial. I know a lot of business owners, right? You know a lot of business owners, right, that are saying, okay, well, what can I be doing? Mm-hmm. And so what they're doing is they're telling their team, make a bazillion phone calls, and that's going to change things, right? Or they're saying, well, things will eventually go back to normal and we'll do it then, right? And so any of those marketing dollars that they earmarked for, golf events and client appreciation events, they're hoarding, hoping that we're going to come back to this normal.
Mm-hmm. Well, what we see is, we go back to what I talked about at the beginning of the show and what Megan talked about the whole time is strategy. What's my end goal? If I know what my end goal is, I have to put together a marketing strategy to get there that includes tactics. And everything you mentioned, the golf outing, the cold call, those are all tactics. And we don't know how they relate to the end goal. And that's the important thing is I've got a 52-week e-learning system about, finding your client, market dominating position, who you are in marketing and stuff like that. And I got a group tonight and we're doing weeks 11 and 12 and it's the second and third of the sales process. Well, the first one is figuring out, your lead generation. So once we got leads coming in, how do we go ahead and close them afterwards? But they all relate, and that's what we got to look at. We've got to understand what is important for our client. So many times, so many people look at it and they're looking at their business from their point of view. Mm. They're not looking at it from their client's point of view at all.
Okay.
And I had one of my group coaching calls yesterday, and ladies like, I've been in business for 2 years. I never tried to figure out what my market dominating position was. Mm. And I'm like, how's this business been? She goes, slow.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to be good if you don't know exactly who you service. You mentioned my hot dogs thing the other day, and that's it. Is if we try to go feed everybody hot dogs unless we're marketing to 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids,
Yes.
we're going to have a really hard time building business.
Yep.
Yeah.
But how many businesses do you run into, Michael, that's their ultimate issue, right? When they look at what they're doing,
100%.
it doesn't align up.
100%, almost 100%. Unless they're a bigger company and they've gone ahead and they've spent the money to hire a marketing firm.
Okay.
That's, when you get to that $7, $8, $9 million, it's way easier. When I started Corporate Memory Solutions back in 2016, I hired a friend of mine's marketing firm, and I got the buddy discount of $7,000 a month.
Okay.
That's kind of hard for a startup to fathom. So it's okay. Now, what can we do?
Yes.
To go ahead and do things. And, I got that software we talked about a little bit, this Profit Accelerator software. And what we do is we go through and say, okay, we're going to find you $100,000 in new revenue without spending a dime on marketing.
Yes.
And that's where we've got to go in and look at, joint ventures.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the number one thing that most business owners don't even look at.
Okay.
How do I joint venture with somebody else who's already dealing with somebody in my industry?
Right.
If I'm a wedding planner, why aren't I joint venturing with, engagement ring sales? Why aren't I with bridal, sales? Why aren't I with cakes, with florists and stuff like that? We can be referring business back and forth all the time, and it doesn't cost us anything. Yeah. It doesn't cost us anything till we get a new client. So, Sherman, if you're in that, if I'm a wedding planner and you own a florist, you send me a client that hires me that knows I'm going to refer them as the florist, I'm going to pay you a 5 to 10% finder's fee.
Yeah.
Because it costs me nothing. You just done my marketing for me, and I don't have to pay for it until there's actually a sale done.
Yeah.
And that's a really good thing. A lot of business owners don't even look at that.
Yeah. And so let's think about that. Right? Think about that accounting firm. Okay, let's say there's 3 accountants, 5 full-time staff. Right, we're really just doing basic accounting and a little bit of light bookkeeping for some businesses. What would my strategy be if that's kind of the focus? Is it's ma and pa and small business, right? So we're talking like the corner shop is my the convenience store owner is my kind of client, not anybody that's bigger than that.
Well, we got to identify that first. Okay. What is my perfect client? If you heard me when I was interviewing Megan, and she said, "Well, I do this, and I said, "Good. Well, we meet next week. We're going to work on that."
Yeah.
But we got to focus it down. When you look at your marketing strategy, you look at this big pizza. This big pizza is anybody who could potentially do business with me. Okay, that's great. Now we start breaking that down as to are they men? Are they women? What are their socioeconomics? What are their economics? And that starts making that pizza slice smaller. Because when we go spend money on marketing, and we spend 2 things on marketing, we spend money and we spend time.
Yep.
And they're both very expensive. And that's where that fishing with hot dogs comes in. If we're just throwing hot dogs out to everybody, we really want the mom and pop convenience store.
Yes.
But we're throwing everything out there. It doesn't get our clients to look at us and say, hey, this is the company I need to talk to. This is not the company I need to. When I was doing financial services, I was with Primerica, and we knew exactly our clients were 25 to 35-year-old married homeowners, 1 to 2 kids, and had a household income of under $75,000. That was our target market. That's pretty well defined.
Yes.
When you go looking at Mutual of Omaha, who's your advisors? Who's their target market?
It's all based on their marketing for themselves, right? So one is I'm going to focus on accountants. Other one's going to focus on medical, healthcare, so doctors, nurses, PAs. Other individuals going to focus on people that are over the age of 65. And so if someone comes in and they don't identify a market, that's the first homework.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to try to be everything to everybody, because you can't.
You can't. I got I don't know if you know Phil Hammett, right? Yeah, Phil. When I worked, I started coaching him a little over a year ago, and that's the first thing we did. Okay, who's your target market, dude? And we really niched it down to real estate agents for a while. So it was real estate agents between 25 and 35.
Yeah.
Here's why, because they don't even think about this stuff yet.
Yeah.
As dealing with people in financial services, they're not even thinking about this yet. So, those are the only things. We got 3 minutes left. Jonathan keeps giving me. So what's the important things that are coming up for you and Mutual of Omaha that people out there need to know about?
So I'd say that one of the biggest things that we're coming out with is on the recruiting side is we're unique in the industry. Mm-hmm. So we actually invest in someone on the training, which is not unique. But where we do help out is in a commission-based typical compensation, we have a fixed income, a monthly allowance, a quarterly bonus, and they get their commission. So it's all stacked on top of it. Mm-hmm. And so that allows us to be extremely nimble compared to a lot of our competitors. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that you get to work with this action. I mean, there's not a better person in the business in Houston that I've ever met than this guy. That'd be me. That'd be me myself. I'm pointing at myself.
I know you're talking about you.
For those that are watching on video, Sherman is the differentiator, Mike.
He is.
It is. I mean, because what I'll do, I've probably given out somewhere close to around 150 referrals to those on my team from all the efforts that I'm doing to get out there and be the face. But I'm not building a client base.
Right.
And so that's the beauty, is that they have something that is, I'm not sitting in an office, dark and dreary in the corner. Right. I'm out there promoting Mutual Omaha, promoting them, and helping them get in front of folks.
Well, it's been interesting, because you and I, we met out networking, and that's what happened, because we're the two type of guys. If there's some place to go and there's people to meet, we're going.
Yes.
And that's really interesting.
We're not going to sell anybody at the office.
No, I can't sell anybody at the office, so I don't have any to meet with. Me sitting there looking at my computer, looking at Facebook doesn't do me much good. I've gotten 1 or 2 clients that way, and they weren't high-paying clients. Yes. So we've got to look at it. So, the things we got coming up with Teach Your Business to Fish is the 29th. Myself and Rob Smith from 5S Sales, we're going to be doing a thing as Sherman said, we're going to do it at the Fogo de Chao in the Woodlands. So if you're up in the Woodlands, you want to come out there, man. It's like 4:30 to 6. We're going to talk about sales. We're going to talk about the 6 cylinders of business, strategy, sales and marketing, operations, leadership, all those things. We're going to condense it down into about an hour thing. We're going to do, some networking. Well, you'll listen to us do this crap, and then you get to drink. And that's always important. So it's $20. Yeah. Come on out. There's going to be some good people. It's limited to 20 people. Then on October 12th, my friend and Lisa Morton and I from Douglas Business Solutions, we're doing a fishing trip on Wave Dancer Charters. We're setting it right now as ladies. We've got 3 ladies confirmed. Megan Neal that was on here tonight. That's her uncle. She's the 4th, and I think this is gonna be the first time she's gonna pay to go on her uncle's boat. Love you, Megan, but I can't eat all the costs. And go from there. So we're probably gonna need 1 or 2 more ladies that are interested. If you want to go out and catch 18 to 30 pound fish and you've never done it, it's fun. It's nice. It's a 44-foot boat. It's a really nice boat, and it's only like a 5-minute boat ride from Galveston Basin to where we're going. Nice. So it's not like my offshore trips where we're running 40 miles offshore, getting beat up, drinking 9 beers before we get there. It's all a different thing. So we've got that coming up. Check us out. We've got this going. Check out Sherman on the Guests of the West podcast. He's always on right before me. It's been a great relationship we've had. I'm so glad we got a chance to meet pre-COVID, because if it wasn't for me meeting him, I wouldn't even be here right now. And it's all because of him. So if you love me, that's great. If you hate me, it's his fault. So that's the way you got to look at this. This is what's going on here. So
that's really the truth. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I know. It's his fault. Go from there. So we about ready to wrap this thing up, Jonathan. You want me to cut it? Okay. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully it's not raining. This is Michael Rager, your business guide. Go out there and become a real success.